You are now watching Fourth and Inches.
All right, y'all, welcome back, man. Fourth and Inches. We've been gone for a minute, you know what I'm saying? We took the summer off. Now we back in to getting ready for the 2022 season. So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna recap. Clearly I'm here by myself. My partner Rodriguez Moore, he's still on vacation. You know what I mean? He out of here. Hopefully he'll be back next week though, and we'll welcome him back on the show. I definitely want to get his opinion on a few of the things I'm finna talk about. So all top, man, Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher. If you follow me on TikTok, and I hope you follow me on TikTok. If you're not, go do that. The link is in the description. But, we discussed it a little bit on TikTok. How you felt about what Nick Saban had to say and what, Jimbo Fisher's response was to it. Me personally, I feel like Nick Saban wasn't technically all the way wrong, in saying that he felt like Texas A&M paid for all their players, though I feel like he was wrong for that. Because at the end of the day, everybody's doing NIL, Alabama included. And if he tell you he not, then he lying. Like, just straight up, just being honest, it's a lie. Everybody's doing NIL, and it's legal and above board to do so. Him making a point, not necessarily him, but, some people making the point that, A&M only had, this many 5-stars the last couple of years, and now they got 8. And, like, yeah, that's a big jump. You know who also made a big jump? Nick Saban. His first year, he got to Alabama, in the first couple of years, his recruiting classes wasn't all that. But then all of a sudden, the Julio Jones class come through, the Dream Team class, when he went from, one or two, not one or two, I think it was like 3 or 4 stars to 12. You know what I'm saying? Like, one season, like, that's ridiculous improvement. It happens. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna make the point that Jimbo Fisher paid for all his players, and the same thing could be made for Alabama, because that's what they do, and they've done, since 2009, 2008, 2009. I can't even remember right now off the top of my head, but it was like small. You know what I'm saying? Like, the classes was decent, and then all of a sudden, boom, overnight. Like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? At a place like Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So it is what it is, though. Everybody doing the NIL, everybody getting these deals for their players, and everybody is taking advantage of it. Why shouldn't you? You know what I mean? Me personally, I feel like the NCAA probably should step in and set some kind of guidelines. I don't know what the guidelines gonna be, though. I'm just keep it honest with you. Because do you cap how much the players can make? Because I don't feel like that's right. But at the same time, it has to be some kind of, like I say, some kind of guidelines. Like, high school players is signing 6 and 7-figure deals. They ain't even played the college down yet. Like, that sounds a little shady to me. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even know if this dude gonna pan out. He already done signed this crazy deal. I hope he does, though. I ain't saying nothing bad about him, but let's say he gets to the school and then he decides, I don't want to go to school here. I want to go to school somewhere else. He could leave at any point in time, but, like, what does that do for the NIL deal, though? Like, does he lose his NIL deal? You know what I mean? Like, what are the stipulations to this contract? It's stuff like that I feel like should be kind of, standardized across the board as far as what you can and cannot do. Not just the players, but the people offering them all this money as well. You know what I mean? But we brand new in this thing. You know what I mean? It's gonna take some time for it to kind of level out and everybody figure out what to do and how to do it. But anyway, in other coaching news in college football, Brian Kelly, he left Notre Dame, went to LSU. People have mixed feelings about it. Me personally, I don't care. I'm gonna just be honest. I don't care. Because Brian Kelly has been successful at Cincinnati. He was successful at Notre Dame. But do I personally feel threatened, or would I feel threatened if Brian Kelly was the coach? No, not really. I mean, he's a decent coach. I ain't saying he's a bad coach. He's good. He has a good track record. So what? you feel me? Like, if you're in the SEC, and that's mainly what we talking about, because, hey, I'm a Georgia fan. My partner's an Alabama fan. We're fans, at the end of the day. But once you're in the SEC, almost everybody's a good coach. So why should you be worried? You know what I mean? Like, if you worried about Brian Kelly, how you gonna ever be Nick Saban? What you gonna do with Jimbo Fisher on the other side? Mike Leach is a coach that I disagree with fundamentally, but I can't say he's a bad coach. He's been, moderately successful everywhere he's gone. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what I feel about him, Lane Kiffin, it's been some level of successful. He's an offensive mastermind. You know what I mean? Kirby Smart. You know what I mean? What Mark Stoops has done at Kentucky, he's proved he's a good coach. Shane Beamer, everybody believes he's a good coach. I feel like he's a good coach. I watched what he did with South Carolina last year. I was kind of impressed because their quarterback situation was horrible. They came into the season with a dude that was supposed to have been a graduate assistant as the starting quarterback because of injury. Like, that's a bad situation to be in as a first-year head coach. You know what I mean? So, not Brian Harston, Josh Heupel, the job he's done at Tennessee, he's a good coach. So, adding Brian Kelly to the SEC, yes, he's a good coach. Yes, he's at a great program at LSU, with a wonderful recruiting base because you're right there in Louisiana. So you get all the top players out of Louisiana. They are loyal, by the way, to LSU. So he's a good coach in a good situation. I expect LSU to be good with him there, but it's just another good coach in a conference full of good coaches. So we'll see how it turns out. I don't look for him to turn everything around in year one, but give him, 2-3 years and let's see what it's like in year 3. That's kind of my thing with new coaches anyway. Let's give them to year 3. And year 3, I need to see like kind of where this thing is going. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you making improvements? Or, because by year 3, you have 2 full recruiting classes of your type of players, for your system. And now with the transfer portal, you really can do that overnight. But I'm going to give you 2-3 years. I want to see how you change things in this program and how this program takes shape, in your image. By that same token, I feel the same way about Lincoln Riley out at USC. Now, Lincoln Riley is not a coach that I would fear, honestly, because I watch Oklahoma play, score a lot of points. Don't play much defense, even when their defense is supposed to be good. So, me personally, I wouldn't fear Lincoln Riley, but we'll see. Here at USC, Caleb Williams left Oklahoma to go to USC with him, so he has his quarterback that he wants to run his system, and he's in the Pac-12. We'll see how that turn out. You know what I mean? A lot of people picking USC to win the Pac-12. Oregon is definitely going to have something to say about that, but they have a new head coach in Dan Lanning. You know what I mean? Dan Lanning got to kick the season off against Georgia in Atlanta. I know they say it's a neutral site game. That might as well be a home game for Georgia. I'm just saying. I ain't making no prediction though. Not yet. We're gonna get to that closer to the season starting. But Utah's another team out in the Pac-12. They're gonna have something to say about that. Arizona State, maybe. They can. They gonna get their chance. I put it like that. Arizona State gonna get their chance. But to me, the favorites in the Pac-12 is Oregon and Utah. Again, just like they were last year. And Utah beat Oregon twice. You know what I mean? USC going to have their chance to do something about it, but we're going to see. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Speaking of Lincoln Riley and USC, I don't know if y'all caught the news, but USC and UCLA have already announced that they will be moving to the Big Ten starting next season. Yeah, either next season or season after next. I have to go back and double check. Either way, here in the next couple years, they will be moving to the Big Ten. So you're gonna have Ohio State hosting USC in the horseshoe in a regular season game, or UCLA hosting Michigan in a regular season game in the Rose Bowl. Like, that's crazy, man. The Big Ten literally is coast to coast now, because Rutgers is literally, New Jersey is on the eastern coast. USC, UCLA are literally on the west coast. That's crazy to me, but I can't even say I'm surprised. After Texas and Oklahoma decided they were going to go to the SEC, nothing else really surprises me. The Big 12 is going to be adding Cincinnati, Houston, BYU, and UCF. They're going to be officially a part of it next season. So the question is now, are conferences going to continue to expand, or is this pretty much it? The SEC supposedly had put out a statement saying that They weren't looking to expand past 16, and the Big Ten has done the same thing as well. But if I remember correctly, they weren't looking to expand past 14, and now we're at 16. So what they tell you? Nothing. That's what they tell you. You know, there was a rumor going around. I say rumor because I can't confirm it. I don't even know the people to confirm it. But that Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and I believe North Carolina, where they were trying to negotiate their deal where they could terminate their TV rights deal with the ACC to potentially join the SEC. Now, as an SEC fan, you know, somebody that grew up in Georgia, the talking points for a long time were that Clemson and Florida State were invited to join the SEC back in 1992. 1992, when the SEC first expanded. They added Arkansas and South Carolina. That's when the SEC split into divisions. That's when the SEC championship began. It was the first conference to have that. When that happened, well, right before they invited, you know, Carolina and Arkansas, or accepted them, supposedly they invited Florida State and Clemson. Both teams declined the invitation. I say supposedly because I don't know. But now here we have it. Let's assume it's true for the sake of argument. Here we have it 30 years later. Those same two teams are now trying to get into the SEC. Kind of ironic, ain't it? Now, me personally speaking, as far as the conference expansion, I don't want to see them expand. Not to that extent, you know. As much of a Georgia fan as I am, as much as the SEC fan as I am, it ain't no fun if everybody is in the same conference. Like, who you gonna play against? You know what I mean? Like, let's say, okay, Georgia come out, Alabama come out, Clemson come out. So my only thing, if you expand the conference to you got 20 teams in two conferences, who they gonna play against? Each other? What about everybody else? So nobody else get no burn. Like what's gonna happen to a team like West Virginia, Maryland, I don't know, Washington, Utah? Like, they going to the Big Ten? Or they going to the SEC? How this gonna work? You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna happen to the Oklahoma States and the Texas Techs of the world? Like, yeah, they not winning the championship. No, that's not necessarily, but they're good teams. You know what I mean? They both had chances to be in that position. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't like to see that, but we'll see how it turn out, man. We'll see how it turn out. Because I never thought we'd get to this point. I never believed Texas and Oklahoma was going to come to the SEC until it was announced officially. Like, it had been something that was talked about for a few years, along with Florida State and Clemson. That was the original thing that people were kicking around, that Florida State, Clemson, Oklahoma, and Texas would all join the SEC. And it was like, why? Why would you make the SEC, you know, that much of a power conference? And on the flip side of that, when you put that many teams in one conference, the good teams in the conference is still going to be the good teams. The bad teams of the conference are going to be even worse. Then on top of that, you're going to have to play more conference games. When you have to play more conference games, that takes away your ability to play the FCS schools. And I know people saying, oh, you don't need to play the FCS schools anyway. Man, don't y'all know that is what funds the FCS programs? Like, for example, a school like Georgia Southern, you know, they done moved up to the FBS now. But before they moved up, if they go play a game against Georgia or Alabama, Florida, Florida State, like, they've played all those teams, you getting a check for $800,000, $1 million sometimes. Like, that funds all the rest of the sports for the entire season, like for the entire year, not just football, basketball, women's track, lacrosse, women's volleyball, swimming, diving, everything. You know what I mean? So how do you supplement those schools and those budgets that, you know, count on that money? You know, I don't know if y'all remember, but some years back, it was a controversy about Savannah State. They went and played Florida State, and they was getting beat 83-0 in the third quarter. And people were, well, why would you even go play that game when you know your team isn't up to that level of competition? And the answer is simple. It's for money. Because at the end of the day, don't none of this stuff work without money. I don't care how much you love it. I don't care how much you hate it. None of it works without money. You know what I mean? Coaches don't get paid. Equipment don't get bought. None of this stuff works without money. Period. So what are your plan for those type of teams that's going to lose the opportunity to make that money? Just saying. And are we going to expand the playoff? Because that has to be the next step, right? All the teams in two conferences, if you're only going to get 4 teams in, you're going to have 2 teams from the SEC, 2 teams from the Big Ten, and nobody else. So what are we doing? What is everybody else playing for? Nothing. They just there. Like, come on now. You're going to end up with basically somewhere between 32 and 40 teams, and that's it. So the other 90 plus teams that play D1 football are just going to be out here for rec, just exhibition games, I guess. See how that don't make sense? So I don't know what the solution is. I ain't even finna sit here and project the solution, but I'm interested to see how it work out. You know what I mean? People who really do this for a living are going to figure something out, and they're gonna have to, because either you're gonna figure something out or it's gonna kill itself. Just saying. Now, one last thing I want to speak on, because I don't want to keep y'all too long, especially just listening to one person. I'm sorry, this is boring to me. I know it's boring to you. Arch Manning, my guy, Arch Manning. Now, full disclosure, I've never seen Arch Manning play a full game in my life. Never, not once. I wanted to catch him, this his senior season, and hopefully I will be able to catch a game on TV, though. I'm not going all the way to New Orleans just to watch a high school football game. I'm sorry. Not going to happen. But it's some interesting takes have come out last week about Arch Manning. As you all know, Arch Manning, #1 overall recruit, quarterback, nephew of Eli and Peyton, grandson of Archie. His father's name is Cooper Manning, by the way. He's the older brother of Eli and Peyton. He's the athletic one in the family. He played receiver at Ole Miss. He had a neck injury, which ended his career. He's the athlete of those 3, though. Don't get this twisted. But Arch, on the other hand, like I say, #1 recruit in the country, #1 quarterback, 5-star plus, which means he has a perfect rating as far as a prospect. Literally. He and the guy Nico, I can't even say Nico last name. I don't even want to attempt and destroy that man's last name. That would be so disrespectful. But the guy's name is Nico. He's from Long Beach. He's going to Tennessee. He's committed to Tennessee. But Arch, though, so he committed to Texas last week or week before last. It was a big hoopla about it, of course, because he committed to Texas. Since he's been committed to Texas, I believe they picked up something like 10 or 12 other recruits, and I feel like a lot of that is due to Arch Manning. A lot of publicity surrounds him. He's a highly rated quarterback. A lot of people want to play with him. Cool. Respect all of that. Here's the interesting thing. The former head of recruiting at Rivals, Mike Farrell, I hope I'm saying his name right. You can look him up on Twitter, though. M. Farrell Sports, as a matter of fact, at M. Farrell Sports. He put out a quote that says, if Arch Manning, basically he said if Arch Manning's last name was Smith, if he was Arch Smith and not Arch Manning, then he would be a high 3-star and not a 5-star. So I seen the statement like, whoa, that was a major statement. You saying this guy who has a perfect rating, if he wasn't a Manning, he would be a high 3-star. That's a big drop. Okay? You understand me? Y'all following me along. He went from 5-star perfect rating to a 3-star. That's a big drop. It's 1 through 5. That's it. So I go and look at the actual interview, and he said that. He said more to it than that, but he said that. And basically what he was saying was, if the guys at scouts.com or Rivals, it's the same website, but he said if they got just his tape, just his game tape with no name on it, so we don't know who this guy is, we just watching the game tape, he said he would be a 3-star player. He said he would be a high 3-star because his game tape isn't really that impressive compared to other quarterbacks in his own class. He say, however, the training that he has and the potential, the potential that he sees in him. He said he personally would have him as a 4-star. He said he evaluates all the quarterbacks at the end of the season. He reevaluates them after the Elite 11 count. Arch Manning didn't participate. Neither did Nico. Now, Nico still had his 5-star rating according to M. Farrell, whereas Arch went from a 5-star because he had him rated as a 5-star previously, and he said, I changed my mind on him. He said, and I have him rated now as a 4-star. He said, but if I was going simply off of game taping, that was all I had to go off of. I didn't know anything about him. I had seen no training camp on him, no anything. Then yes, I would have him rated as a 3-star recruit, because although he looks good in the regular season against lower competition, once he gets to the playoffs and takes that step up in competition, he looks bad. Telling you basically what he said. I will link the article in the description of this video or of this podcast, however you get it, so that you can go read it for yourself. Like I say, his name is at M Farrell Sports on Twitter. You can go follow him. I suggest you go follow him. The dude know what he's talking about. I mean, he was the former head of recruiting at Rivals. So, I mean, he ain't making this up. That's his opinion. You could differ from his opinion, but go follow him. I had a little exchange, with the college football nerds. Again, another podcast I love. Go follow them on Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, all of that. College football nerds. Again, they know what they're talking about. Even if I disagree with them, I respect where they're coming from. They ain't just pulling it out of nowhere. And they felt like Arch Manning was overrated. Now, they didn't go as far as Farrell. They said that they believe that Arch Manning shouldn't have the number one. He shouldn't be the number one quarterback in this class, but he probably should be, top 50 player though. But they just felt like the guy Nico in particular was just a much better prospect. His physical talents and all that kind of stuff. So interesting statements on Arch Manning, man. Again, I've never seen the man play a down of football. I have no idea if he should be a perfect prospect. I feel like that's a little hard to believe though. And the reason I say that is I watched Trevor Lawrence play high school. I watched Justin Fields play in high school. Neither one of them have the ranking that Arch Manning has right now. Think about that. Trevor Lawrence didn't have a perfect rating. Justin Fields didn't have a perfect rating. I don't see the flaw in neither one of them. Not in high school. I didn't see nan flaw as far as a high school prospect going to the college football level. They had it all, from the size to arm strength, accuracy, mobility, and they are not rated as high as Arch Manning is right now. So I was skeptical of it, but again, I had never seen him play. So who am I? I ain't no expert, no way. I'm a fan that just has more knowledge than most people because I'm a nerd about it. So we'll see how it turn out, though. You know what I mean? But like I said, I ain't want to keep y'all too long. It's the first podcast back. Welcome back. Fourth and Ninja. We back in the building. Man, look forward to seeing y'all next week. You know what I mean? All the way up to the beginning of the season and throughout the season. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Check the link in the description. Follow me on all social medias. Follow my partner Rodriguez Moore. I'm going to put his links down there too, even though he ain't make it here today. But it is what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother. I love him. Hope he make it back safe. Y'all be easy. See y'all next week.